All right, we are back. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We're here with Sancho and Cheville on commentary, running ICO. Sancho is the world record holder of this game. And after this, you're going to get to see the world record history and how Sancho climbed to the top of the ICO mountain. I don't think there's an actual mountain in this game. Anyway, I will let Sancho and Cheville take it from here.
Hey, I'm SanchoPanda. Today we're running the hardest version of the game that came out an early release in 2001 in September. That the U.S. forced to come out before the game was actually ready. And so because of that, we're going to have just some fun little things that are unfinished to show you in this version, but this is also why it's going to take us 2 hours as opposed to, well, it usually takes me about an hour and 35 minutes in the finished version of the game. There's all sorts of reasons why, and we'll get into those. But Chev, introduce yourself, my commentator, who I will be commentating you very shortly after this.
Yes, hi, I own this game on the PS2 and I have never played it. I bought it second hand and I don't have a way to plug my PS2 anymore. I don't have a TV, so I've never had the occasion to play. So I'm very excited to bug you with inane little newbie questions.
Yes, that's why I asked you to join. And yeah, we do have an incentive going right now where if you donate, anyone who donates $5 or more, I will change the headgear that I'm wearing. Right now I'm wearing a Dallas Cowboys. So if you hate football, this is your incentive. I'm wearing a Dallas Cowboys Santa hat. And the time is only RTA, so it will punish me to have to switch, but I'm okay with that. I got 7 other different types of headgear to go through. And if we make it, trust me, the last 2 are worth it. Alright, are you ready to get started? So we're going to go with new game, but it doesn't actually start in this version until we select vibrate or not vibration, and we're going to choose not because I hate it. Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. And there is sort of a 1-second delay in my game capture, so you will notice sometimes me reacting just slightly a bit early. So, we are skipping all these cutscenes right now where Ico is taken to this castle and all we know is he's a boy with horns and so he's cursed and the village is sending him to this castle to be some kind of sacrifice for the safety of the village. How much do you actually know about the game? Have you seen me do a full run, Chev?
I have seen a few full runs, yeah.
So, who else have you seen run the game? Because other people have done it.
I've seen Sable Dragonrook do some runs. I've seen Bucci. I think Bucci's 50 Hertz.
Oh yeah, she's yeah,
run, which was a blast, literally.
Because her version, it launches you up into the sky. Yeah. All right, so you're gonna see a difference right away in that I can't skip this cutscene, so we're already losing time over other versions of the game. Also, everything just loads slower in the PS2, so we're already like 20 seconds behind the other versions of the game at this point, but that's fine.
Yes, the hard version comes because of the load time, if I understand correctly.
So it's not just the load times, it's that there's a lot of cutscenes that you can't skip, and they add probably like 15 minutes to the game on their own, or 10. Well, let's just say 10. I've never really timed it. I don't care to do that and depress myself more. But that's not really what makes it the hard version. The hard version is because since you can't skip some of these cutscenes, we're also going to have to fight shadows that we'd normally be able to avoid when we skip cutscenes. Because if the cutscene's running and shadows are spawning, then they have more time to get to you. But if you could have skipped the cutscene, then they'd be wherever they would have been when you started the cutscene skip, if that makes sense. So I'll show you soon enough. But also what makes this version so super duper hard is the shadows hadn't been balanced yet. So they're way more aggressive. When they grab Yorda, they fly like a ton faster than in other versions of the game. They get her to the shadow pools like super duper fast. But also in the other versions of the game, when you're playing a new game, the shadows have 7 hit points or 11 hit points. In this version of the game, every single shadow has 14 hit points. So the fights are just super grindy, and they hadn't even worked out the fighting mechanics as well, so Ico's even sloppier in his fights, if you could imagine.
I can't. How much do the weapons deal?
So yeah, so let's just, when I say hit points, I mean like hits with the stick. So it takes 14 hits with a stick to get rid of every shadow, except like the first two, but we're able to avoid those anyways. And then all the others, it takes 14 hits with the stick. It takes 6 hits with the sword. So even with the sword, you still have to hit those guys like 6 times. Again, here's another cutscene I'm not able to skip. And if you get the mace, it only takes 3 hits to destroy them. But in the other version of the game, it's only like 3 or 4 swings of the sword, and then only 2 swings with the mace to get rid of shadows. So that makes a big difference.
I assume it's still not worth getting the mace in the run.
Oh, we're gonna get the mace mainly for safety purposes, because there's one place in particular where I'm just gonna waste 8 shadows right away instead of having to do a bridge skip. So just because if it fails, it costs us like 8 minutes in this version of the game. So we don't want to do that. Also, if I tap R1 to call fast and Yorda's in the to like run a tiny bit faster and Yorda's in the same room with me, you'll notice even if I'm just tapping it, the camera still swings super hard over to her. They unlike all the other versions, so I don't get to do my call to run faster nearly as much either. So there's all these little ways. Some of it costs a lot of time, some of it costs a little bit of time. Okay, let's see if we can get this jump. Nope, we fell. That's fine.
Oh no. I actually don't have the game audio. I'm
oh, okay. I'll tell you what it sounds like. When he yells, it sounds like wah, and yeah.
You'll have to do it every time.
Okay. All right, we'll just do this a little bit safer this time. I'm normally like really aggressive about that. For some reason, we can skip that. Now, in the other versions of the game, he walks with her kind of slow, but this shadow just bolts. And since it would take like 6 or 8 hits to kill him, it's actually faster to just let him take her into the pool. But of course, if she stays in the pool too long, you turn to stone and the game like resets at the quickest save. So. Yep.
So okay, so when they try to take it, if you interrupt them, you have to fight them. But then if they get into the pool and you rescue her, they just disappear.
Well, okay. So he would have come back, but when she hit the door and the lightning struck, that got rid of all of the shadows. There would have been 2 shadows there if I had decided to stay and try and kill all the shadows to get rid of the pool. But fortunately, the Yorda's evil Sith electric force energy can also do that. Can get rid of the pools. So.
Okay, so it was on more of a cooldown.
Mm-hmm. So again, normally we skip this little cutscene here, and she doesn't walk over to the bench, but in this person she does. Come on, Yorda. Also, this little scene right here takes a lot longer in the other version. She dangles precariously, but they hadn't finished it yet, so... that's like one of the very few ways you actually save time in this version over the others, but it's definitely not worth the trade-off. And then we hit another door. So these doors and the benches are the ways you save. Anytime you'll die, you'll go back to whatever bench you most recently sat at, or whatever door you most recently opened. And some of them are pretty punishing. It can be like 8 to 10 minutes that you lose going back if you die.
So if I understand correctly, a lot of people think that you have to actually go through the trouble of saving to your memory card when you
yes.
on the bench, but you actually don't.
No, I learned that. I think it was during a GDQ run with or one of Bucci's runs was when I learned that. So all that we would have skipped. Like that was about what 30 seconds of or at least 20 seconds of 2 different cutscenes that we normally would have skipped. But fortunately, her AI always runs up those stairs there, so that's cool. So we did defeat those. But yeah, so you just have to sit down on the bench and then stand back up. When it asks you to save, you can just say, no, I don't want to save. And it still makes the checkpoint. Okay, so in the other versions of the game, like the railing is broken right there, and you can fall over in that spot. in this version of the game, there we go. This lever is in a different spot. And we're gonna have to take Yorda with us on the trolley ride. That's another big difference. And the reason is that the bridge that we would normally in other versions of the game, we leave Yorda in this room, go to the trolley, go all the way around, open up a drawbridge, and then double back and get Yorda and bring her back through the room we just came out of before. Oh, that was weird. In this version of the game, that bridge is not there. It's broken. And so we have to try and skip this fight. Hopefully we'll get this skipped. And we will have to fight some shadows at the top as well. And you'll get to see first, like, what these fights are actually like.
I know that you're very excited when people who run this game or know the game very well get to play that version, because it's
Yes.
almost a new casual experience.
Yeah, there's so many, like, and I'm telling you all the differences, but if someone isn't watching this, you know, and they've run the other version of the game, and then they're like, what's different? I don't tell them anything. I just say, just play it. There's just so many surprises for you if you'll just play it. So, we'll see them as we go along. But
Not in an evil, maniacal way, though.
yes and no. Like, there are a couple surprises that are just brutal that I don't want them to know, because I want them to feel my pain from what I went through. Alright, we're gonna try and trap these guys all in this corner here. Where's the other one? There we go. Oh, that did not work. They scatter really too much. This is gonna be... Yeah, so they hit you really hard, and he doesn't get up near as fast. But fortunately, it takes him a while to grab her sometimes. Okay. This is looking okay. Alright, guys. I'm just trying to corral you. And anytime you can, like, double up on your damage... Hey, one of them's already gone. Sweet. That's pretty good. Alright, this was the one we hit the least, so it's gonna take a little bit more. And the fight is done. Good.
So we were talking a bit about how this game changed a lot of things. It did
Yes.
a lot of things that were very unusual, and so the first thing that I would notice, like in the fight, is that you don't. They knock you out, but you don't have HP at all.
Yeah, that's a great observation. There's no basically Yorda is your HP bar. If she's alive, unless you like fall to your death, that's the way you lose in this game, is by Yorda getting taken, or you leaving her alone too long in a room that's like in a different spawn and her getting grabbed. So it's an escort mission, but it's a different kind of escort mission, because she's a lot. It feels like so much more important to keep her safe, as opposed to she's just there to open doors for you. And, you know, unfortunately her AI isn't quite as finished in this version, or you'd get to also see her having a little bit more autonomy. Like, she doesn't shake her head at you ever in this version of the game, because they hadn't finished programming that in. So that's kind of a pity. And she doesn't chase birds, which makes me really sad.
Oh. Which means shaking her head at you. I'm sorry.
Yes, so like right here, there's always a chance with a jump like that. There's always a chance in the other versions of the game that she will be hesitant enough to instead she'll like take 6 seconds to just stare at you and then shake her head and be like, "Nuh-uh, I'm not doing that."
Is that random?
I think it's based on, like, I can tell when it's gonna happen based on where she's standing. So it feels random, but I've played the game long enough to realize, like, it's not. There are some variables, but they're hidden variables, so you don't notice it right away. Someone donated $5. We gotta change hat. I'm sorry, I didn't notice when that happened. Alright.
Me neither.
This one is a little bit more appropriate to the game. Oh, and it feels nice and cool.
Beautiful.
Yay. Alright, so now we've got to get Yorda on this. Again, all of this is stuff we've skipped in the other versions of the game. We didn't have to skip that fight below the train station. We didn't have to fight the shadows at the top of the train station. We didn't have to get Yorda on the train and off the train. And we don't have to get her on this crane and off of it. But in this version, we've got to do all of it, because I'll show you where the bridge is in a second. I like how here she's just like, no, I don't want to go here.
This is much more of an intended percent.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, it really is. But over there is the bridge. See, and it's just broken. It doesn't exist in this version of the game. So, but
Yeah,
in
you
the
can-
other, mhm.
You can just cross it or jump over it in the.
Yeah, yeah. We don't mess with this crane at all. I just run up to the top of the crane. Like instead, I'm just trying to get to that bridge as quickly as possible to open it up. Oh, I forgot I can quit that cutscene. There's like 3 random cutscenes I can skip that are mechanic related, but most of them you can't in this version of the game. Now you're gonna see some unfinished textures. In the other version of the game, you see like brick, but here it's just like this ugly brown rusted thing, and they decided to clean that up. So normally you can drop and to press X. You can press X to drop faster, and Eco will catch. But in this version of the game, he wasn't catching chains yet. So if I had tried to drop from the very top, we would have just died. So when you said I'm not ever evil in telling them, I do love watching them drop to their death from the top of that chain for the first time and be like, what happened? Because they didn't know about that difference in the game.
I must admit, I was coaxing you a bit.
So I think it happened to Sunbro Jade, and I just got the giggles. It was great. Now we can call Yorda when we're here to run a little bit faster because the camera, she's not in the same area that we are, so the camera's not gonna like swing around to show us where she is. Another difference in, I will say though, that between PS2 US, the 60 hertz that's on JP or region free, and the 60 hertz that's the PS. Did I get it? All right. We don't have to hit the chain in this version for some reason. That the mechanics of the game, this feels exactly the same. The controls feel exactly the same in my hands. So that's really nice. That from game to game as you move around, you're not having to like mentally adjust that.
It shows also the priorities in Ueda's and the team's head.
Mm-hmm.
It was they wanted to get the movement right.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
something that
Mhm.
you can feel in all the games.
Now in this version, his jumping while holding the bomb is a little broken. As you can see, he covers a lot of distance. So I was able to make it across in just 2 jumps, whereas normally it would have taken 4. And I didn't have to do a bomb toss because I could jump over to it. Like, he just covers so much distance with the bomb in this version of the game.
I was going to say, I was expecting you to throw that bomb after you sit.
Normally I have to, but in this version you can just do 1 jump and you're next to the pillar, so why? It cracks me up.
But that checks out, you know, frog legs. The protagonists in those games always have kind of superhuman
Yes, they
limbs.
do. They really do. All right, so here's another. We're in the Benny Hill segment of the run where we basically are just running from 2 different groups of shadows in a row. These shadows are more aggressive, but for some reason they're not as good at chasing you when they're in the air. So it's not quite as scary as in other versions of the game. So we're gonna zap them now. Zap.
Were you worried?
No, not at all. Not at all. I've never had them grab her there. I mean, it could happen, I'm sure, but especially in this version of the game, they're just not as good at tracking when they're in the air. And here we're gonna go again. Now, the pools spawn in a different place here. You'll notice they're down there at the bottom of the steps. But interestingly, they're so bad at following, we might not even see them get near as close. So, in the other version of the game, one of them tries to grab her, like, around that turn. None of them have even made it there. I do get nervous about those spider shadows. And then there's usually one by now that's really close. But they're nowhere near. So what are we at? We're at...
Sorry, if I understand correctly, in the final, well, in the other version of the game, I'll call it final, the spiders don't attack you. There's a difference there, isn't it?
Yes, the spider shadows will hit you, and they'll hit you while you're lying on the ground in this version of the game. So they can actually like volley you back and forth to your death, and you can't do anything about it, especially since you can't get up faster in this version of the game. Someone commented in chat that I wonder the technique for holding hands in this game was particularly new. I think it was at the time, I will say that another difference, it's a subtle difference, but I think it makes a difference, is the default in this version of the game is just to tap R1 to hold and let go of Yorda's hand. In the other versions of the game, the default hold, you have to be holding down R1 to be holding Yorda's hand, and I feel like that really attaches you to her better. And as we all know, Ueda is great at having us feel attachment towards our side character companions. Whether it's Aggro in Shadow of the Colossus, Yorda, what are you doing? Or Trico in The Last Guardian, or in this case, Yorda with Eco.
Do I have a second to mention?
You
the
got plenty
headgear
of time.
you're wearing,
Oh, uh-huh.
which I suppose, I assume it's not official merch.
No, no, I made it myself. Yeah. So the it's just.
I know that you've built a few of these. You've made those beautiful Trico plushes.
Oh yeah, we got a Trico plushie right there behind us. Yeah.
And yeah, do you? So I'm going to remind chat in case anyone wasn't there at the start of the run that Sancho is going to be switching headgear for every $5 donation.
Yes. Every donation of
so
5 or more.
There's a bunch of them, and Sancho was particularly excited to show off the two last one in the list.
Yeah, we've got 8 total. We're on number 2. The last 2 are really great, but all of them, each one I switch, it will be a surprise, and you'll enjoy it. All right. I'm not gonna save here. We should be fine. Usually we do a skip here, but in this version of the game, again, the shadows are just so aggressive that it's much safer to actually fight them. And you'll notice Eco, as he fights, he sort of does this weird step to the right in this version of the game, which is really annoying. It means every once in a while you have to kind of reposition yourself. And when I can, I actually prioritize the spider shadows.
It really puts into focus the capoeira dimension of the game.
Yeah. Get that spider. There we go. Let go, Yorda. Ugh. Gosh, that's so aggressive. Ah! And now watch how quickly he grabs her. Oh, okay, I was able to... No, don't grab the thing. Look how fast he goes up to the top. Did I get hit again while I was grabbing the side? They're just so quick in this version of the game. It's ridiculous. Oh, that spider shadow tried to hit me. Okay, we're good. I think we're okay. This is a weird place to fight, but again, just notice how aggressive they are. Like, it's bananas. You'll see me falling a lot.
Did you have to practice your strategy, your positioning in the fights and
yeah, but it's so random, especially when you want to get rid of the spiders first. So I practice as much as I can, but it's not the easiest thing to like feel like you can get them into a pattern. See, even there, I thought I was gonna be able to block him in time, but nope.
I didn't know you could block.
Well, like, if you are facing them directly as they swing and you swing at the same time, it like makes a tie. Alright, but the thing that stinks is anytime one of them actually grabs her... Let's fight here for now. I've never done this before. Alright, we'll just let you grab... Anytime one of them grabs her, if he makes it all the way into the pool and you've hit him, he will respawn and he will go back to full HP. It's kind of annoying. Alright, this is okay. Again, like, this is super tedious, though. It's way more fun to do the skip than to just fight each one of these guys, but, you know, this is the version of the game. So I was asked if I could run Eco, and the reason we're running this version of the game isn't because I was like, yes, I really want to show this off. It's because someone else is borrowing my PS3. So this was what we were left with.
I assume you won't have a couple of seconds to show off the beautiful box art for this.
Oh, this version of the game? Oh yeah, we'll have time for that. Yeah, we'll definitely have time. There's some really long cutscenes that we can't skip when we do the East and West Arena reflectors. So we'll, come on, Yorda. You notice her AI isn't as great at following either. We're gonna be holding her hand a lot more. We'll be babysitting her a lot more in this version, is a better way to say it. Alright, and again... So, I think like to compare with the other version of the game, right now we're about 7 minutes behind. Well, let's say 6 minutes behind where we would be in other versions of the game, and it's just going to stretch more and more.
You've been having a pretty decent run so far.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's I mean, it's going. We haven't died, so that's nice. And hopefully, man, I probably should have saved because there's a chance we could die at this next part, but we'll just deal with it if it happens and try and think of fun things to say and sing about.
I'm sure you'll manage perfectly.
Well, it's not this. It's the dark room that comes up next. So in the other versions of the game, they really nerfed the dark room encounter. I think they realized how frustrating it was going to be to have to do the fight where you fight 8 shadows down in that dark area right there, which is.
I'm sorry to have not been that clear. I meant that you'll manage perfectly to.
Oh, to entertain if we fail.
Fill the time.
Okay, I appreciate
once
that.
you died.
Okay, well, okay, yeah, that's. Yep. This is So
I'm teasing. You're a gamer.
we should have saved at the bench after we killed those first 6 shadows, but we'll be fine. Okay, so yeah, this thing right here. It's like super easy to skip this next encounter in the other version of the game. But in this version of the game, because of how aggressive the shadows are, plus how less intelligent Yorda is AI-wise, they hadn't worked out how to do this encounter so that it would be easy to avoid the shadows. Because normally, like, you want Yorda climbing up while the 2 on top are falling down. But in this version of the game, we have to like put her all the way over here, and so that hopefully she'll grab onto our hand before the shadow that spawns on the floor gets to her. We'll see how it goes.
And they don't spawn until you're up there. You can't fight them beforehand.
So I'm going like all the way over, and now we're getting up and calling her, and it's still going to take her a while to find my hand. But we're doing this because if we did it in the place where we normally do, that shadow would make it to her. All right, Yorda, find my hand. Oh, she found it really fast. So now we're just going to like run straight to the back so that the shadows that are barreling towards us don't grab her right away. Oh, no! Well, we got hit somehow. And it's... Well, there it was. So, like, that kills a run. Yep, okay. Hopefully, though, I can just... Yeah, one of them hit me while the other one... So what I want to do right now is prioritize the spider shadows, because they will just swing around and hit you on the floor. Oh, she's in the... Oh, no. No. This is what I was talking about. Okay, let's just get to Yorda. Okay, and hopefully... I'm legit scared here. Okay, hopefully we can kill some more spider shadows. And ICO, like, he ran around there, and that was not me controlling. I just did a swing, and the AI decided to target a specific shadow that was very far away. So as you can see, this is really hectic. All right, we got rid of one more spider shadow. That's always a win. It's best to just, like, jump out of the way, because as soon as they get close to you, they want to swing. We'll let her go in again for a second and get rid of that next spider shadow. All right, I think the spiders are gone, so we'll survive. But again, tedious. Hey, we killed one! How about that? 7 more to go? This is so aggressive. Yeah. So this would definitely have been a run restart, and yeah, okay. Anyways, we got a nice little chain going here. This is nice. All right, we're clearing it out. We're clearing it out. Yorda, what are you doing?
She's helping.
So again, just gosh, they're coming from like some surplus store. What in the world?
It's Mary Poppins shadow pool.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just like her purse. That's a really good analogy. All right, we're down to last 2, I think. This guy should be... And again, it's 14 hits for each of these guys instead of 7 or 11. So even the fight itself is way more grueling. All right, we're done. Ooh, well, I mean, so... You remember me saying doors or benches activate a save point, right? So
I do.
If we had died here, if the spider shadows had just played ping pong with me and we died, do you know where we would have respawned?
in the big yard before. Before the,
Yes.
oh no, because you didn't sit there. So yeah, before
Entering
there was the
into
door. Yeah.
entering
Yeah.
into the big yard before pulling the torches. We would have been about we would have been about 11 or 12 minutes back.
Can we get a round of applause for the clutch factor here?
Oh,
Just
gosh.
before
Yeah.
the checkpoint.
Yeah, that's really the worst one. The rest from here we can manage on our own, but again, like I don't even know, like one of the shadows grabbed her and the other one went like hit me super early on. This is a little different too. We have to actually run all the way around to the other side of the this is a little bit of a less sophisticated puzzle here. All right. So we got some calm now before our next fight, which will be much more manageable. That really, like, what were they thinking? Having a fight like that. That you can tell they regretted it, and like they must have tested it and then regretted it and gone back and gotten simpler.
Well, I assume they were like, oh, we're going to give them a big scare before the checkpoint.
Mm-hmm. But if you don't go back and save that past bench, yeah, I remember my friend and I think graveyard in that room, we were like, is this game even worth finishing? Because it's just so hard in this version of the game. Alright, come on.
Yeah,
Yoda.
and they I
she's already
don't
there.
know how intended it was. Like Yoda is not as smart as she is in the final version, and
Yeah.
those shadows just ganged up on you. One hit you and the other grabbed her.
Yeah, they're really coordinating this version. I think another one took my wallet. It was pretty brutal. Yeah, they're really organized in this version of the game. It makes me think. I think of Chicken Run, where the guy's looking through his goggles at all the chickens, and he's like, they're organized. That's what it makes me think of.
Haven't seen it.
Oh,
Sorry.
do you like Wallace and Gromit?
Never really got into it.
Okay, fair enough. It was the same people, the same creators.
Yeah, I know. Not I. Like, there's been, so I'm for context, I'm French. There's been releases of these in France, but
Mhm.
I don't think they've ever been that big, or just maybe never really got into the crowd.
Fair enough.
Move on. And yeah, and now just like 2 minutes later, another checkpoint.
Yep. So some of the checkpoints are really brutal and others are really close. Now, I'm doing something different here. Normally I place Yorda under that awning, but it's because the cutscene kicks in early here, so it's actually impossible to do the skip in this version. So I actually don't even need to be positioned differently. I'm just going to jump back over. And once again, we're going to prioritize the spider shadows when we can. I've missed all of them so far. Golly!
I was watching the Twitch stream, so I was behind.
Oh. Come here, spider. Oh, gosh, they were being really squirrely. Oh, there he is. Nice try.
Yeah, you're dealing.
These also do a better job of backing up away from you when you've hit them, like, so it's hard to get the chain hits in there. See? I wasted 2 swings. Okay, come on, get up. You're not that hurt. Oh, this is nice. All right.
The spiders just take 1 hit though.
Yeah, they do just take 1 hit. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of you guys. Where'd you go? Ah! Okay. So,
Good job.
thank you again. I mean, these are like the funnest part of the other version of the game becomes the most grindy part of this version, which is again why we're really gonna have to get the mace later. I mean, it's still a great game even in this version though, and I still enjoy playing it, but it is different.
So pretty for the time.
Oh yeah, 2001, absolutely. Alright, I'm gonna run you over here. There we go. I can still do that little trick, as opposed to going out the back as intended. Because there's another gate, like there's another pressure plate, and you get Yorda to stand on that one, so you can exit out the back to climb up to the top. And instead, we did a little shortcut.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned. I don't remember if you mentioned it for this fight, but you skipped that in the other version.
Yes, we
You
you keep
just
Yorda
drew.
underneath, and the shadows get stuck because their pathing can't get to her because she's under that little overpass thing. And it's actually one of the harder skips, but it's not impossible. I think we did pull it off at SGDQ. Actually, it was probably the best split I ever had in that skip at SGDQ, so that was pretty cool. All right, waiting to see if anyone else will donate $5. We got some Christmas headgear down here. Got some other really cool stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah. So the Meteor speedrun is taking place in support of the RIP medical date. Medical. Can you do that? I'm not good at.
I want to hear you struggle through it.
Yeah. Give money, make good.
Yes.
Get Sancho to wear stuff.
Yeah, and it will also, I think Ryan said or Octini said, for every dollar we donate, the way this charity works, they will relieve $100 of medical debt. So, I don't know how they do it, but I guess they work with the people who are the creditors or something, and they work out a deal with them where, here, we'll give you $10 for the 100 that are owed or something. I don't know that part, but I just think what a great opportunity to help others who are in need. Because it's so easy it's so easy for medical bills to climb. Alright, here's another encounter that's gonna, normally it's really easy to trap these two shadows, but again, because it's like, again, like just how they split around. Alright, is he gonna just go after Yorda? Okay, good, that's fine. Just finish this guy off first. Leave her alone. He does a really bad, long stumble animation after grabbing her, so you can kind of... Why? And the camera swings really hard in this version.
That's a bit. That reminds me of a bit of Journey.
Yeah. Except in Journey, you have control over your camera. I'm not doing any of that camera work there. The only thing I can do is look around from the fixed position of the camera. But I think that actually plays to the strengths of this game because it makes you feel more like it makes it feel more cinematic in a way. Almost like a camera that's on rails. Alright, there we go. So we didn't die. If they grab her in this one, they take her all the way down to the bottom, and there's not enough time to get the elevator and go down and rescue her. Again. Yep. And I only learned that recently.
Oh no. Is it here in the 50 Hz version that there's a very hard jump?
Yes, yeah. There's two ways to do it. One way is to jump. Okay, go ahead, Yorda. Yorda wants to go for a ride. Whee! One way is to jump onto that elevator and then up and across, and you get to skip all the stuff that we've been doing. The let's see. The other way. Oh, the other way. I'm trying to think. Oh, is you just find a step and you yeet all the way up. All right, come on, Yorda.
Hi, Arkmoon. Yes, it is a very dear topic for Octini and the gang to have accessibility options, and the open captioning is obviously a staple of that.
And I love using big words just to see if it will capture them sometimes.
It is also so funny.
Like propinquity and ubiquitous and sanctimonious. I'll let you tell me if it got those correct or not.
I don't know that because I've got a delay on
the
stream.
Well,
I noticed it's saying 4:14 a.m. and I don't remember us mentioning the time. So.
Oh, okay. That's hilarious. Alright, these guys are annoying. Hey, we got them both! Oh no, he recovered really quickly. Get up, get up, get up, get up! Yay!
Beautiful job.
Yeah, and that's a lot harder in this version. We kind of got ubiquitous and sanctimo. That's impressive. I shouldn't keep saying it. When I was a kid, there was a... we could be talking about the game, but
Yeah.
When
I was. I wanted to mention the jump that you did.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
And your technique of is it D-pad jumps? Is
Yeah,
that still a thing in this version?
it still
So
works in this version.
you're mainly playing with joysticks, and then there are some jumps where you're using the D-pad.
Yes, yes, that's true. Okay, now back to what I was saying that has nothing to do with games. Um, when I was a kid, I had a Ernie and Bert record. Yes, record. It was the 80s. And I would listen to it, and it was just a bunch of like little skits of them, interacting together. I promise you I wasn't trying to get back on that chain. Climb up, boy. Okay, anyways. Um, gosh. Okay, so there's this one skit where Bert invents a machine that rings a bell every time someone says a word that starts with the letter R. And so Ernie tries it out, and he's like, wow, that's remarkable. Ding. But then Ernie gets this idea in his head, and he's like, well, let's see how it can really do. And he starts like doing tongue twisters, like like something about, he just starts like talking about like rubber radishes and Ruth Rode the Red Ranger, and it breaks the machine. And I kind of wonder, like, could we use enough big words where we would break the captioning machine? There, that was it. That's where I was going with that whole conversation.
And also, I don't think that would be very hard.
No. All right. Whee. Oops.
But for just $2 donation,
Look
Sancho
how
will
slow this guy is in this version of the game.
the
Okay.
tongue twister.
Yeah, the $2. That guy like that is the most geriatric shadow in the game. He's just like holding Yorda. You could just tell his back is hurting with how slowly he goes in this version. I think it's really important that they added an extra idle doors here, don't you? Because we could have died between that last one and this one. Sarcasm.
Okay.
This idle door that we just hit is not in the other versions of the game. So they realized how silly it was to have it. And there's one on the other side too. Alright, we got some downtime here. So again, if anyone...
What's your favorite Christmas beverage?
We have a tea that's a hot cinnamon spice tea, and if you put just the right amount of sugar, it kind of tastes like drinking liquid Red Hots. It is so good. But I do drink it year round, but I still consider it a Christmas drink. How about yourself?
We are big. I'm living in the eastern region of France, and there's all those Christmas markets, and I like to get out and get myself a cup of warm wine with spice.
That's nice. Arc Moonblade says eggnog, but can't have it anymore. I used to like egg. It depends on the type of eggnog. Some eggnog tastes really good, and some eggnog just tastes like Elmer's glue. Are you a fan of eggnog, Chev?
Don't have that much in. I don't think it's a big thing out of the US. I know it is a staple in the US. I tried it just the once when I had. I was invited to Christmas in an American household.
Oh, cool.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. It is strong, though.
Yeah, it's got a strong taste to it. I messed up trying to get all those spider shadows, so we had to chase them down. But it's no big deal. All right.
That masterfully.
Thank you.
I just took the good luck, have fun oath yesterday, so I'm trying to live by it.
How the good luck have fun oath? What's that? I haven't heard of that before.
So there's this. If you see me, I'm going to link it in chat So it's the any key. Good luck, have fun. I'm Google.
Okay. While you're doing that, I can explain that this is a cutscene normally you skip, but since we can't skip it, we also can't skip this fight because we don't have enough time to rush Yorda over to the ladder.
So I hope it's not a problem that I do that, because I know that some of the prominent members of this group are very into that. But if you see my name in chat right now, I've got that key next to my name, and that's because I signed the Good Luck Have Fun pledge, which is an engagement to act wholesome, to act, the contrary to toxic, of which there are too many examples on Twitch and in the gaming communities. And I invite you to take it, and you'll get this cool badge next to your name. It's very quick to activate on Twitter.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm just fighting a shadow here. It's super exciting. In the other versions of this game, this step has ramps. In this version, you have to jump your way up or slowly step up every single one of those steps. But we had a good fight.
Is that... So I know that there are two such places,
Mhm.
and you usually skip one of those. Is that the one you skip?
Yeah, this is the one where normally we skip that fight.
And you're going to get the mace, right?
We'll get the mace before we go to the next one, and that skip we won't do. Instead, we'll just kill all of those shadows right away, because it's a really, it's super intense. I'd say that 9 times out of 10, the skip will work in the opposite arena when there's 8 shadows, or there's 4 shadows trying to chase you at once. But in this version of the game, it's less likely that they'll catch you, but if they catch you, it's over. So we'll take the mace and we'll kill them before we get to that part of the encounter. But it's always cool to see the mace. So
Yeah, I'm excited. There is a mace percent run, isn't there?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same run, but then you also get the mace. That does make it a little more interesting. And then there's what other versions do we have? There's the cooties percent, which would be impossible in this version, I think, where you're trying to hold Yorda's hand as few times as possible. So cooties percent is another favorite of mine. If you're going on New Game Plus and you already had the mace, then you get a lightsaber instead. And in New Game Plus, there's also a watermelon at the end. So lightsaber watermelon is another category that I enjoy.
That you start from a fresh file.
Mm-hmm. No. It's not like platinum. Like you're only doing the new version. You're starting from a New Game Plus where you got the mace in the first time through. Okay. Yeah. That would basically be doing a platinum percent to run through it both times and get the mace the first and
What's the difference between doing an any percent with mace for marathon safety and a mace percent?
Mace percent, you're just getting the mace, but you're not actually killing the shadows early to try and avoid the scary skip.
Okay. Even in this version, so you're taking the chance?
No, I'm not today. But it has everything to do with me respecting viewers and not wanting them to have to watch the same 7 minutes we just saw a little bit ago.
Yeah, I meant in a non-marathon run, you would take the chance even in this version.
Yeah. If I had some saves, sure.
Or you would just not run mace percent in this version, maybe?
So normally we don't, like, for the world record that I have for this category, we don't get the mace. But for a marathon, we definitely do. Okay. Yeah. I would say, yeah, getting the mace takes an extra minute and a half. And so at this point, it wouldn't be worth it. And the number of fights you actually do after you get the mace, if you do the run well, is just one other fight with 2 shadows. So it's not really worth getting the mace just for those 2 shadows. If you ended up having to fight more, it means something failed anyways, and you weren't gonna have a chance for more.
Do you recommend hanging on ledges while holding a sword like that?
No, I don't know how he doesn't cut off his fingers every time he does that. That's and the sword even like clips through his hands. But I do wish he kind of had like instant regeneration and that his hands would just like constantly be dropping these sausage fingers onto the ground. That'd be pretty cool animation to add to the game, in my opinion. Maybe if they do a remake.
Right. Yeah. And maybe he could have, 3 swords that get out between his fingers.
Yeah.
And really cool side burns.
Yeah. Hey, we got both double cuts. I will say... what was I gonna say? I don't remember. It must not have been that important.
I told you I'd bug you with...
That's okay. It makes everyone different. So people will hear different stuff with us. I like it. Alright. Come on up, Yorda. I think I got distracted because, again, normally you skip those cutscenes where the drawbridge falls down, but in this version you don't. Alright, we are almost done with East Arena. We've got one more window to open, and after we've opened that window... I don't know why she let go of my hand there. After we open that window, we'll get to see... so we did skip a cutscene earlier where the queen showed up and said we couldn't leave, and she closed this huge gate. And we are in the process of reactivating that gate.
Yeah, about that, about the story of the game. You've mentioned at the start you're from a village where they've noticed that you've got horns on your head, so they think you see that castle for some reason. Because you're a cursed boy in the game, and
yes.
You found Yoda, who was prisoner in a cage. Do we know why that is?
In this point in the game, all we know is that Yorda is the at this point, all we know is that Yorda is the daughter of the queen, and the queen just basically said you can't date her. Yeah. All right, we'll leave Yorda there.
What are your intentions towards my daughter?
Basically, or she's out of your league.
You're
That's
way
really
too
what he
small.
says. Yeah. Your village people are too poor. You're just in a different class. All
Your
right.
horns don't count towards your height.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Every $5 I'll switch hats, but we've got some Christmas antlers here with jingles on them. We've got a nice Christmas tree. We've got a Journey hood hat. I think you'd like this one. Sprite made this for me. Yeah, it's a Journey beanie. It is great. I feel like this is the final one that's worth getting. I think that would be the final one if they earned it. Or we'll see. We'll see if we could even get 2 or 3 more, maybe. I really was hoping to wear the sombrero for the larger portion of this run. Yorda, where are you? She wants me to pick the sword up again. I might as well since we're already here. Fine. Normally in this version you don't have to pick the sword up, but
Is the jingly hat the next one in the rotation?
Yes. The jingle
Can
antlers.
someone
are the
give
next one.
$10?
Just 5, that's all they need. Oh, you mean to, like, skip over one? No, it's each donation. Gosh, come on. I'm having difficulties controlling my characters. Each donation is, it doesn't, of $5 or more. You can't do 10 to skip over one. Are you saying you don't like the jingle antlers?
It was very loud.
I'll keep my head very still, I promise. Oh, I was gonna show the Trico plushie then. I'll do it next time.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you do these Trico plushes, and you also did this adorable Yoda sock puppet.
Yes, which I actually wore on my foot to control Yorda when I played two-player, one-person, two-player. Come on, guy. But why did... Golly, so aggressive. Well, they're all landing this time. But as you can see, they're not really as good at chasing. We should be safe. Oh, you jerk. Come on, Yorda, get up early.
Oh.
Alright, we're fine.
Oh, you saved it.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
now
they usually have that like little burst of speed when they get close to you, and they manage to catch her.
I would say that if you're running in a straight line, they can't grab her. But if you're making a turn and that's when they go for the grab, they'll always get her. Because she loses her momentum during that turn. So that guy just did his turn really well. Normally we do a Yorda's delivery service where we have the shadows, like we leave Yorda way back early in that on that bridge, and the shadows grab her and take her to us. But in this version of the game, since we can't skip this specific cutscene.
Oh, so it would be game over.
Yes.
Before you got back to the.
Exactly. I couldn't even make it out the door, and what it would show is a game over screen with Yorda inside of a pool. Because in this specific scenario, you can only leave Yorda alone for about like 8 seconds before it's game over. So it's really weird how it changes depending on the scenarios. Anyways, let's go. Woohoo! So now we've got a nice amount of time without any like serious shadow encounters, so that's kind of cool. It's just going to be more platforming and puzzling for a little while.
I see oh, okay. I thought there was a butt coming.
Nope.
It's going to be replaced with something worse.
It's going to be replaced with a missing water pump jump and a missing water mill. Because those puzzles weren't finished in this version of the game.
Yeah. I seem to understand for some people that would not be a fun.
Yeah, well, this load is taking a while.
Yeah. Did you crash?
I don't know.
Gadulus came in and wished you good luck.
Gadulus!
And then you crashed.
I don't know. This is never... you know, the game's never had trouble loading a section for me before. That is interesting.
Are we in a this never happened before?
Yeah, but it's not a the game has never happened before. It's a what is my old cranky PS2 doing all of a sudden? Not loading this. Well, I don't know that there's anything I can do besides restarting and seeing where the best bench save is. Yeah, there's really nothing else I can do. Okay.
Oh, you can show off your Pico plushie.
Phew, yeah, okay, so here it is. This is actually my prototype. I've made other better ones, but they've all been given away to people. So I've got about one or two more. Oh, thanks. I've got one or two more to make. This was my original. I've made the nose a little smaller since then. Oh, and it's wearing my my GDQ badge.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a little sticker that you made, a little Etsy kind of.
Yeah.
Of
All right, let's see what we've got in terms of. Oh, lordy.
Oh boy.
Windmill, stone pillar. We didn't save at East Arena. All right, well, let's see what the waterfall one is.
Yeah, and you actually with that technique of just sitting on the benches without actually saving.
Well, we already have the mace here. Let me think. So we're gonna have to just kind of think on the fly with this. I'm really sorry about this, guys. But the other save would have put us. We would have had to do all of the East Reflector again. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just take a tour of what would have had to happen. We'll kind of go in reverse for a little bit and meet up. We're only like, I don't know, 5 minutes away. It's better to start from this end than to have to redo the Stone Pillar and that whole East Arena section we just did. So, how's it going? That was a really strange failure of a load. I'd never seen that happen before.
Yeah, it is very mean.
My game has never, ever done that.
Just tech issues.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright. So we're going to try and compensate by taking as long as we normally would. And we already have the mace, but we're just going to walk through. So, what we did when the... can I get her to jump down with me? Will she come down? Okay, so anyways, what we did was we cut this rope, right? And then from this rope we went through the top there, and that's what failed to load. That would have just brought us back into the chandelier room. We'd have come down to the bottom of this chandelier room. I would have brought Yorda over here, which would now take us to about exactly where we are in this time. And then I have to climb up this rope. This first window here is a decoy, and we would actually need to go up to the second window. I do like that change in camera angle there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the second window is the solution, which is really sneaky because you can't even see it. And so from the second window, yeah, marathon luck, exactly. That's okay. From the second window, we'd come over here and we'd push a cube down. Then we'd pull the cube over 8 spaces, push it down this way. The cube would fall. We'd pull Yorda up onto she'd get on the cube, and we'd be able to get her up here. And then from here, we would make it over to the idle doors. And now they're opening. Is that an okay sound effect?
It was awesome.
Thanks. Okay. So we are doing...
I'm trying to follow along.
Okay.
And then you would have gone for the maze?
So now there's supposed to be a closed gate right here. So we stay there where this gate is closed. We do a trick.
Oh, you do that great drop.
Yeah, to drop down here. And then this is an area, it's just a quicker way to get to that, which goes up to where she is. Unfortunately, I have already used it.
So now we're losing some time.
So let me think back through this.
This is an interesting exercise.
Yeah, it's making me like think this puzzle backwards. Ooh, I don't think I can make that jump. Okay. This is fine. Okay. I know how to get up there though. I believe.
While Sancho figures that out, I will remind you and encourage you that for every $5 donation, Sancho will switch headgear.
Oh, that's right. Yes. There's a chain down here I can take to get back up there. Well, this is gonna end up being about as long as it would have done to do it normally. All right. Grab the chain wherever it is.
Do we have it? Are we managing?
Yes, we're doing just fine. So, yeah, we don't ever actually use this chain, but it's there, like, for if you fail a certain part of the puzzle to have to go back. So we drop down, and then go down there, get on this thing, come up to the top. The gate is still closed, so we pull this lever crunk, and now this gate is open. I like how some dust comes out if you've already done it. Alright. And
the art direction in these games, and this is the first in the series. Just,
yeah.
Such a peculiar.
It really is.
Words that has in mind. It's admirable.
All right. It's crazy to think at this point in the other version of the game, we're almost at the main gate again. Like, that's the difference in time. Of course, we've had a couple little fights go longer than we would have wanted. We still did a skip there.
Time-wise?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, another fun thing to point out. So the way you're normally supposed to do this is there's a block that you pull down to get Yorda, and normally the block is like way over here. In this version of the game, the block is right here. Isn't that fascinating? Okay.
Mind-blowing. I'm sorry, I spaced out for a second.
Indeed. Also, in this version of the game, you can't call Yorda while you're on the ladder. It just doesn't work. Normally, we'd get her to start following us now. In this version, we can't get her to start following us till we're all the way up.
Okay. And so you would be halfway through. And...
Yeah. So she'd already be coming up to us. Anyways. And here I do like to... Since it takes so long for her to come, it's a good time to practice memorizing inspirational quotes. Love is patient, love is kind, and is not jealous. Love does not brag and is not arrogant. Does not act unbecoming, does not seek its own, is not provoked, does not take into account a wrong suffered.
Does not yell at people for being truthful.
Does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things, love never fails. Every time I see her head right here, I want to put a little bit of sunscreen right there where her hair parts. Because you know she's going to get a sunburn there after how pasty white she is. Love is caring. What is love? Alright, so...
You know, she'll get back
yeah.
soon enough into the shadows.
So we're going to do a little bit of shorthand here. So at this point, you'd climb up this ladder, scale all the way across that bar, scale all the way across that bar, scale all the way across that bar. It takes a long time, so we're just going to skip it because it's boring. You would come out up here and go down this ladder. This is so fun to telling you stuff after the fact. And then hit this tree. And for some reason, a ball drops from that tree. Then we pull this lever to open this gate right here. We grab the ball, do some more super jumps with our ball. And
unique puzzle there.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the tree, you hit
so
the tree.
it's so not a normal part of the game. Like everything else, you see and you know what to do. And then there's this door here, which you can just push open. And you take Yorda in here with you while carrying that ball that dropped from the tree. You stand on here. Oh, see, my sword is still laying there. You stand on here, and it activates this basketball goal. You throw the ball into the goal, and a mace flies out from this window.
I wish we'd got
And lands here. And then you switch it out. It's just so... It's like everything else is logical, and then there's this one thing, like, who's on the other side? Who threw that mace to you? Are they've just been standing there for years and years, and they're like, finally? Or is it some sort of, like, Indiana Jones trap kind of, like, mechanism thing?
I was going to say trebuchet.
It just doesn't make any sense. So then we would get over here. The cube that's normally, like, way over in this corner in the other versions of the game, so you'd have to think more. The cube is sitting right here. You push it into the water. It goes down the river. We'll use it in this minute. And then you notice the water mill's not here. So this is actually a really, really, really hard jump to make. Whoop, we got it, though. And so you make that jump. And this, in the other version, you have the water mill. And this ladder's actually broken. You can't climb up it. It's like broken halfway down. Or missing halfway down. You pull this crank. Mm-hmm.
We're still on catching up with what you did.
We're almost caught up. Yeah. You pull that crank to turn this water off. And now we're caught up.
Okay. So we're done. Just for context, for anyone who came in during this really weird part of the event, Sancho is running ICO, is running the version that first came out in the USA before it was finalized. So it's a bit of a different version, but more than anything, was in the middle of the run and then got into a loading screen, and it just didn't load. So Sancho had to reset the PS2 and
Find the best checkpoint we could. And it's a shame that it was one where we already had the mace, because if not, we could have at least gone back and gotten the mace. But now we're caught up. And I'd say that took about as long, or probably a little bit longer than it would have anyways. Alright, now we've got another shadow fight we're going to try and skip. Yorda does pretty well in this. This skip actually is more consistent than in the other version of the game, for the simple reason that these shadows don't have wings, and in the other version of the game they have wings. So they're just doing their best trying to catch up. Run, 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 you can make it! Oh, so close! Those guys skipped arm day, they weren't able to do their push-ups.
they can't catch her once she's holding your hand. I mean, from the level below. If she's catching your hand, you can't catch her.
No, they can't grab her feet. That would be terrible if they could do that. Now, this is something that's kind of Dark Souls-y, but they stole it from ICO. You're getting to see a whole portion of the game that we will come to later, and it's just showing it to you now. ICO was one of the first games to ever do that on this kind of scale. It's super cool. Also, let's enjoy the floating feet here. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Okay, go ahead.
And it made you grow a couple inches, but yeah, the PS2 is really the time where those big, really well designed, big levels got introduced, and
yes, yeah,
I could get opportunities to show off levels like that.
Sorry, I didn't. Let me warn you, if you haven't seen it yet, the screen's got to get really bright. They didn't tone down the sun bloom there. But I saw we are now at $131. So either we've had a couple donations or someone has donated $20. I'm curious if that's just one donation or if it's more than one.
I would assume it was a donation by Arkmoon.
Oh, okay. Arkmoon Blade, your choice. That was a $20 donation. That's super awesome. What hat would you like me to wear? We've got the sombrero. We've got the two festive Christmassy hats or headbands. I'll even activate the lights on the antlers if that's what you would like, because they do blink. And the plus is that Chev hates them because of the jingle.
They're really loud. And let us know if we're making a mistake and there have been there's been another donation or anything. But the Arkmoon Blade, let us know if you did donate these $20 and which hat you would like. You shouldn't tempt me with the sombrero.
I mean, if you want me to wear the sombrero right now, I'll wear the sombrero. Did it hurt my neck last time?
You were hoping.
We're more than halfway through the run. And Yorda, where did you go? Oh gosh, she was just hidden right there. Okay.
Now you see her, now you don't.
Yeah.
Pulled her out of a sombrero, maybe?
Alright. We'll switch and then it will be kind of like, please somebody else donate so I don't have to wear the sombrero for the whole rest. Alright, sombrero it is. Just wear 4 hats together. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put on the sombrero, but we're going to see... which way does it go? Does it go this way? Okay, I gotta think this through. Okay, here we go.
Oh, that looks good.
I can't tell which way is the front and which way is the back. I'm guessing the front is the one that goes up, but I want to put the back on instead. Oh gosh. This is worth it, guys. Who cares about the run right now? Let's put the ICO horns on top. There we go.
That is great. I love this.
It doesn't... My head... I forgot my head isn't small enough for this. Alright, here we go. Okay, sombrero with ICO horns. And continue.
You're getting your money's worth.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and you're framed perfectly as well.
the good news is, like, as long as we're taking... Oh, sorry for... There's another sun bloom coming up. As long as we're taking with this, there's that super long credits at the end that we don't have to sit through and do the beach run at the end if it would end up taking too much time. So we've got like a 12-minute cushion on top of the 5-minute cushion that was already given. But I honestly don't even know how to gauge.
The beach episode, though.
Yeah, I know. We'll see how we're doing time-wise.
Nathan is worried that you can't see the screen with all that on your head.
No, I see it just fine. Oh my gosh, everybody and their dog is here now. Let's close the gate.
Please, they can bring their pet spiders.
Oh yeah, there's no more spiders, fortunately. The spiders, the final encounter with spiders, I believe, was in East Arena. So.
A reminder that in this version, which is not the final version, and the shadows haven't been balanced yet.
Yeah.
The spiders can throw you to the ground and then hit you again while you're on the ground and juggle you and stun lock you.
Yeah, it's a pain. And the other shadows have take 14 hits with the stick instead of 7 or 11.
Which is why we got the mace.
And even with the mace, it still takes 3 hits, I think, instead of 2. So, but still, way better than 14. Alright, we will do a save check here just because if we were to die, I really wouldn't want to go all the way back to the bottom of that waterfall. Come on, Yorda. Please hold your hand for me, Yorda. Boo-doo-boo.
I don't know I would have joined in, but I don't know.
So yeah, as you had said before, we don't actually need to make a save there. The checkpoint was created just by sitting down, but the save would mean, you know, if the game, God forbid the game crashed, we could load there again. But I already have a save at that bench, so.
And that wouldn't happen.
No, of course not. We're gonna need to stand for this version. It's a little different. I've already lost the time I would have gained by doing this, but it's still swaggy.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Worth it.
Yes, worth it. You know how like when you maybe not everybody's like this, and it's not anything suicidal. It's just like going to the Grand Canyon, you look over the edge and you just kind of get this like tiny feeling of like what would it be like to jump? You know, not like a death wish or anything, but just the curiosity of it. Every time
you just called vertigo.
Maybe, but every time I'm on that pipe, I'm like, there's a tiny part of me that's like, just push X right now. Just drop. You'll save it, you'll be right back at that bench. It's no big deal.
There's vertigo in there, there's Call of the Void.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good point. Whee. Did I get it? Yes, sweet. It's a lot harder to light that because of how far he jumps in this version. It's actually possible to jump over the ledge with the bomb and die because of how big his jump is. Alright. You can appreciate the fact that they hadn't worked out what the camera's supposed to do here.
That's just like your opinion?
No, it's clearly like, why in the world does it like do that? There is no need for the camera to sink down.
Did they fix that on the final?
Yes, yeah, it's much better. Alright, Yorda, come along. Come with me. We'll be in your castle.
And so she never hesitates at all in this version too.
And the other thing though is I have to grab her hand every jump. In the other versions, you know, she does like a tummy oof. And, yeah, but in this version, no.
Because that might be why she's hesitant.
Yeah.
Because she's like, no, you burned me before. You called me and then pulled out your hand. I remember.
I remember in the other version of the game that existed after this one. It's confusing. Alright. again, like all of this platforming, all the things I'm doing, like the controls, it feels exactly the same as playing on the PS3 version. Which really isn't a remake, it's just... What do you call it? Is it just remaster where, like, they didn't change the game at all? All they did was, like, reskin it a slightly higher resolution?
Yeah, I would call that a remaster.
It's basically just redoing all the textures. Like, the game is no different, the AI behaves exactly the same.
I'm playing through a series. I'm not going to say which of games that were remastered from the PS2 era. Came out about the same time as ICO, and it does these beautiful. So they didn't really change the textures that much. They're upscaled a bit, but the models are. They are a bit more polygons, I think, and there are these kind of textures that you see are kind of old, and it creates this. Visually, it's really interesting. It looks actually kind of cinematic when you've got the foreground.
No.
This kind of
Sorry.
texture that. Oh no.
That's all I can say is I turned around to jump, and the game decided that I hadn't turned around enough. I don't know what that was. That's okay.
You fell asleep while I was talking about my
I was really interested in what you were saying, and I was just trying to jump back across, because in this version of the game you have to fight those shadows, and for some reason the game decided I hadn't turned around enough. It's you know, I honestly don't know what that was. It might just be that this is a very old controller and it just decided the input to do a little weird. No problem.
And this time around, that jump, you set it up really quickly.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. I was so thinking about the other thing. Yeah, I guess so. I wasn't even in a hurry. I was just going it automatically. That was really strange. I love ICO, but I definitely have a love-hate relationship with this version, but I don't mind showing it off, and I don't mind making mistakes and getting a little egg on my face. And we didn't lose that much time, thankfully, because we did save at that bench. So what were you saying again? You were talking about another game that has textures or something?
Yeah, and it just creates this beautiful effect when you've got this old-looking texture at the foreground, and it's kind of it simulates some kind of blurriness, kind of animated feeling, depth perception kind of thing, and it's really I think it's really a really interesting thing to maybe try to grab the way that it's been done to kind of emulate it. Well, maybe create new indie games. It's a really interesting effect. So that's just what I wanted to say. And I spent a long time saying it.
That's okay. So you're going to be running Journey later. You know, the creators of Journey did cite ICO as being one of the games that inspired them. Could you, just from seeing this game, think about what might have been some of the factors that went into that?
I did not know that. It's really interesting. You were mentioning those shots where the camera is panning to show you the level design, and it reminds me of when you get into some areas of Journey. I'm going to say Tower. When you get at the start of Tower and the opening cutscene, and the camera pans up and down, shows you where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I would think about first. The other thing is Hi, and thank you for the raid. Welcome. I hope this stream was good.
Thank you, raiders. Welcome. We are speedrunning ICO, and we have an incentive where anyone who donates $5 or more, I change the crazy hat that I'm wearing. And right now we've got my ICO hat on top of a sombrero. It's a long story.
And if you donate $10, you can also put in a request to have another hat stacked on top. I just decided that. I did not consult Sancho at all.
Okay, yeah, $10, and I have another hat that I think would go really good on top of the ICO hat. And definitely not be of a different genre.
And so, you were asking me the similarities that I see between this game and Journey that might have inspired Journey, and I'm thinking about the companion mechanic, where
Yeah.
though in Journey you don't have NPCs. Well, you have the one, but that's not really intended.
There we go. Why was that jump so hard? Okay. It's not a jump I do normally in other versions of the game, but because the shadows are so aggressive here, and because you have to grab Yorda's hand every time, it's easier to just kill these shadows than to take Yorda with us and try and skip the shadows. In every other version of the game, we get Yorda to jump across here, but she lands kind of on her arms and climbs up on her own, so we don't have this whole animation going along. In this version of the game with the aggressive shadow... Go ahead, yeah?
No, I was going to mention for the newcomers, Sancho is running the version of the game that came in the USA on PS2 before the game was finalized.
Yes. That's how close we were to a checkpoint when I just died. Anyways. But yeah, so the biggest differences are that the shadows are way more aggressive and you can't skip cutscenes. And so the difference in world records is from a regular 60 hertz. What's my world record? It's like in RTA, it's like an hour and 32, and this one is like an hour 55. So
it's crazy. I'm looking it up. Is it in the main category or in category extensions?
Main category. There's 60 hertz, 50 hertz, and NTSCU. And I have the world record for the 60 hertz one and the NTSCU. Hi,
okay, so,
yeah, go ahead.
60 hertz is 1 hour 28 minutes 6 seconds.
That's the IGT, right? What's the RTA?
Oh, let me check. 32.5, 132.5, and NTSCU is 1 hour 55 minutes 53 seconds.
Yeah, so that's quite a difference, and I'd say it's mostly because there's certain shadow fights you can't skip, but and something else coming up that takes a lot of time close to the end, but most of it is not being able to skip cutscenes. I think that would make this game a more popular game that people would try and run if they could just skip the cutscenes. Alright. There's a little part of me that wants to like throw caution to the wind and try and do the skip now because we lost time earlier. But if we failed it, we'd lose like another 8 minutes. I think that'd be too much. So we'll just do this. No.
Do it.
Not this time. Not this time. I've got to be respectful of the other runners. I don't want... RIPDebt, not runs. I don't want this run to die. Yorda, you were supposed to have climbed up this ladder already.
So what would the skip be?
So the skip would be that after I cut this rope, we don't kill the shadows that are going to spawn, and we have to try and avoid them when we do the sky bridge at the top. But in this version of the game, because of how aggressive they are, it's really a lot to ask. So instead, we're gonna go right here, and also they spawn in a different place. Yorda, whatever. Okay, they in here they just spawn right here in the bottom, all 4 of them all at once. He hit me anyways, but that's okay. That guy's just gonna grab her and bring her right back here.
I was watching the Twitch screen again.
Oh, sorry. You know,
No,
I am sharing with you in Discord, you know.
Yeah. I was like, what? There's no relation between what's happening on screen and what Sancho's saying.
At least the mace takes these guys out so fast.
Yeah. So is it the equivalent of a fight with the sword in the finalist version?
Yeah, it is. So you have to get all the way to the mace to get what it's like having the sword in the other version of the game, in a regular new game, which is ridiculous.
And the mace is there for marathon safety. Sancho would not grab it in a normal run.
Yeah. So like even now, like this thing showing you this and then panning back to Eco, all of that is usually skipped. There's just so much you can skip. All right, come on, Yorda.
But then you don't know where to go.
Yeah. See if we can get there fast enough to do the other one without having to relight it. Whew, that was close. Alright. Now we can, there are 8 shadows in this area that we can actually skip. But I had to work out a different way to skip them, so this is a... What's
So
the
that's
camera
why
doing here?
That's why you wanted to have Yorda sticking to you.
Yes.
There.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It takes a lot longer for her to come up the ladder. Okay, so again, in the other version of the game, so this cutscene we could skip, but then after we light the torches and open the big window, we can skip that cutscene too. In the other version of the game, which means we can leave Yorda at the bottom of the steps, open the window, run down to her, and come to the ladder. But because you can't skip the cutscene in this version, the shadows have a lot more time to get to Yorda. So instead, we have to actually get her all the way up the ladder before we even do this puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that made sense.
It did, and if I were you, I would sit on that bench right now.
No, we're fine. Whee! Okay, I like that jump. We're fine.
Yeah, it looked good. So, did that gain you time? Because I assume the shadows start spawning... Oh no, they spawn after
They
the
spawn when
level.
it opens, yeah. So there was no
Okay.
way we would be able to get Yorda up the ladder, but since she's already up the ladder, because of where we left her, we should be able to... See, you'll see, like, normally you skip this and we're running to Yorda, and the shadows are still way far away. In this version, I still can't move yet. Now I can finally move. I have to jump down these
Okay,
again.
they come from outside.
Yeah. And so, like, trying to get Yorda up now would be impossible. But since she's already here, waiting patiently by the door, I'll just come over here, pick the mace back up, and we'll go into the next room. And by doing this, we're skipping fighting 8 shadows that take forever to find you, so... So normally, these shadows hadn't even spawned yet, because we would have left really quickly, and then we just kind of, like, run by and before they can spawn again. This really is the coolest skip, even in this version, though, like, leaving Yorda here for a long time, because we'll actually come back into her load a couple different times to reset the timer. Normally it's like a minute and a half or a minute that you can be away from Yorda before shadows will grab her that weren't even spawned.
Okay, that would not be there if you stayed, or...
So... Let's see, how to... It's really hard to... Okay, so we left Yorda in
Yeah,
that
feel
other
free-
room.
Feel free to ignore me.
No. We've left Yorda in that other room. And now, we're actually... This outside area is the same load as the room we left her in.
Okay.
Also, this is really fun. So this normally takes 11 pulls. Watch this.
What?
It turns like a tin can in this version of the game. They hadn't finished so many little things. That's just a surprise. So yeah, Yorda's over here. On the Yorda's just right down through there. So we
Okay.
kind of reset the timer, and we're going to open the bridge, and then reset the timer again by turning off the water, and then we'll do the bomb trick and get her. So yeah. Normally you couldn't leave Yorda alone for this long, but it's like the fact that this works. It's almost like they designed the game to allow for these speedrun strats. You know, it's like it just works perfectly for that. I didn't get the double click. Okay, my chef.
You'll get it. Oh, you got 2 of them. Are there more coming?
Yeah. All right. $5 more, and I'm putting another hat on top of this other hat. I'm lowering it to 5. That's all I ask. If someone will donate $5 to
Good God.
RIP Medical Debt.
Yeah. RIP Medical Debt. If I understand correctly, they forgive $100 of medical debt per $1 donated.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's a great charity.
Yeah, it really is. So, fortunately for us, we turned off that water so that we'll be able to come up and get Yorda. But first, we have to get rid of that those wooden panels. May, good to see you.
Hi, May. Arkman Blade, the no skipping cutscene gang was very, very big at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah,
was
that's a
kind
good
of
point.
rare to be allowed to skip cutscenes. And I feel like the cutscenes that they don't allow you to skip, I feel like it's because they see it as informative. They see them as necessary to show you where you need to go. So they didn't want you skipping them on accident for a casual play.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right. So, since we fought those shadows earlier, we're not going to have to deal with them. Now, there are actually still 8 shadows in this next room we're coming in, but they're down below, so we won't have to worry about them. But the sky bridge that we're going up to next, since we already killed those the 8 shadows in that room, we don't have to worry. But this is really the scariest skip in either version of the game. But in this version, it's really intense, because in the other version, the shadows spawn like on the sides of the room and slowly make their way to you. In this version, they spawn down below, and after 2 of those, they just all clip through. All 4 of them clip through the bridge at once, right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you already saw how aggressive they are. So then you're just trying to make it across and hope they miss their grabs. And if they don't, it's run over. It really is.
And is it as dangerous, because you said that they are less competent in this version to catch Yorda compared to the final version?
When they're in the air. When they're in the air, they have a hard time tracking you while you run with Yorda. Besides that, they are
really
pure evil.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we may meet the one that you call Mr. Clippy.
Oh no, that would have. So in the other version, that's where Mr. Clippy would have happened. Oops, I need a stick. In this version of the game, all 4 of them are Mr. Clippy. They all clip through at once, at the same moment, and it is so scary.
Okay.
Light the thing, stop calling her. Oh goodness, boy. It like...
There's a pattern in these games of using the same button for different actions.
No, I called her, and then the game decided to keep calling her until she held his hand. Normally I'm able to make it over to the other one and light it before the stick goes out. But this version of the game, it's also, you have to be more precise, so all that adds up together.
Hitboxes are smaller.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we have now opened the other side. I'll show you, this was the hat that was going to go on next. I was going to put a Mario hat on top of the ICO hat. And then I think we'd put the Journey hat on top of the Mario hat. Those are my plans. I was hoping we could get a couple more hats on. This is fun though. I'm glad it was you who teased it, but I like this idea better of just stacking hats on top of each other.
I'm a big stacker.
Oh yeah, you with your ties on your channel? Yeah. What's the most number of ties people have had you put on at once? Where are you?
I don't remember exactly. I want to say 17.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I've decided I wanted to start with a surprise. So I will be running Journey later, and I'm already wearing 3 of them.
You're already wearing 3 ties? That's lovely.
Putting on ties takes a while, but I might do the same kind of incentive.
Hmm.
There are cutscenes in Journey that I can use to put on more ties.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Journey's definitely in this no cutscene skip gang.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'd say Journey's worse about it than Eco, or after Eco was finished.
Yeah, it's a lot more recent as well.
Yep.
Hat stack, yes. Let's get some hat stack.
Oh, we did it. We did it. All right, we got another $5 donation.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Let me do this try and do this quickly so Yorda doesn't get grabbed, because you can't spend a lot of time away from her in this moment.
Gadget says they've made me wear more than 17 ties. I don't remember precisely, but there was. I've made a chat in my Discord that I don't access, so I trust people not to do anything bad in there, which is called conspiracy against me. So where people can, if they want to, they can organize and hoard their points, the channel points, until they're ready to make me suffer.
That sounds amazing. And just like blitz them all at once.
Yeah.
So you don't even limit like the number per person?
No.
That is very generous of you.
Yeah. Oh, I might. No, I think I do actually. I might have been. Maybe I shouldn't.
No. Get out of the way.
I don't mind wearing a lot of them, except in the summer.
So yeah, they chase better on foot in the other version too. I'm a little nervous about this. Oh good, he stuttered. All right, we're good. We're good. This skip right here is usually worse in the other versions.
Yeah, because they need to fly there.
Yeah, they
So
do
they don't
they do a much. There's usually two that are about to grab her at that moment. So, in this version though, they're not. Yay. You know, we're both musically inclined, and I think like maybe it's just this version of the game that makes me more what's the word? High-strung?
You would have been singing the whole time,
This
right?
is like the least amount of singing I've done in an eco run ever, even like for my channel. But a lot of the songs I do are like related to how Yorda interacts with you more in the other version of the game. So even like one whole stanza almost doesn't even make sense for my end song. And of course we can skip this cutscene because why not? And let's run with Yorda, but try to keep her from falling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And
6,
that's
7.
so that's going to be the end of the game. You just cross the bridge and you're done.
Yay,
Right?
we're almost there. Well, if you're doing stick percent, where your goal is to keep the same stick the whole run and only use that one stick for any time you have to light something, then yes, the game does end at this moment. But not for us, not today.
No. No, the Sith Lord attacks.
Now, have you seen this version before, Shar? Because in the other versions, Yorda's hair has turned bleach white after that moment. And also, you're going to notice the shadow here is much more ominous, and I actually like it in this version that the shadow's more ominous. No! Oh my gosh, I thought it wasn't going to work.
Ooh.
Stick, no! Thank you, game. It had pity on us after that last one. Oh, that did not look like that was going to work. I was pushing up and left on the D-pad, and it only registered the left. Okay, see? Look at the shadow, though. Oh, I think it's better.
Pitch black.
Yes. Isn't that cool? I think it's better.
Yeah.
So they changed it though in the other versions.
Can you guess why?
I honestly think they never wanted it to be this, and this was just the unfinished effect. Look at that. Look at her head. Oh gosh, I love that. Because in the other versions, she just turns to stone under the shadow. 4-4 sailboat. Lizard eating seagulls. Direct translation. Alright. Hopefully we can do the rest of this fairly smoothly and still end the game within the 2-hour mark, but we're definitely not going to be able to do the breach run. I think we lost way too much time with the when the game decided not to load an area.
Yeah, for newcomers, the
Yeah.
game just crashed, and we took a bit of a tour
Yeah,
of what should have happened.
we found the best save that we could, where we wouldn't have to replay anything, but it did mean we had to backtrack and be like, and then I would have done this, and then I would have done this, and that probably took longer than if the crash hadn't happened. So we lost a good bit of time there, and then we did have a death at the water towers, but that one only cost us like 3 minutes. I think that wasn't that big a deal. All right, more cutscenes.
It's just such a radical, atmosphere switch.
Yeah. Yeah. Not having Yorda, not having any weapon. It's dark. It's rainy. It's not the chirpy birds anymore. Instead, there's like lightning. But then on top of that, there's no shadow encounters either, because Yorda was the one who triggered the shadow encounters. So now it's just this kind of skill gate of we've got a lot of platforming and some really cool puzzles to solve. Which, of course, if you've already solved them, it's no big deal. But a lot of people, when they've gotten used to the run, this is where you cruise. Any mistakes made now are just all on you. It's nothing the game is going to do weird.
Practically turns into a Prince of Persia 3D.
It kind of does, yeah. And also, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, that's another game that was impacted by ICO, and that's why they had, an escort. They had a girl helping out heavily. It's really interesting, because the original Prince of Persia was a game that Ueda said heavily influenced him making ICO. And then ICO influenced the second Prince of Persia game.
And there were these big panning shots that showed off the level designs and the puzzles.
Yep, and they got it from this. And there's even cubes that you have to push that go into other rooms. So that's the same as well. Although that game cheats a little bit. Just push it all the way. That's fine. Like this one, geometrically, there's no cheating in the game. Like, does that make sense? I feel like I could have described it better. Like the way it's set up, you could actually build it.
Oh.
In other games, it's like you go from one room to another, and you're like, okay, that couldn't actually really physically exist that way.
Okay, yeah, it's all one coherent castle with interconnected, transitions.
Yeah, and the way the way they measure it out, even if it's not actually the same load as another room that's next to it, it's still measured as if it were, so like that it would fit. Okay.
It's kind of the way that a lot of Metroidvania games are built, and you've got this map, and I've played one recently where I was telling myself, well, there's a bunch of rooms where nothing very interesting is happening, and it feels like they needed to add some screens to the map there to transition you to the interesting room, because it does need to be this coherent space.
Yeah. I've heard that architects have looked at this castle and marveled at how good the design was. So that says something, I mean, nowadays you can tell that architects are actually hired for some of the game designs and castle levels and stuff. But for this, this is all Ueda's mind. It's crazy.
No, I get it. If I ever need to build a huge, cog. Cog using watermill for my background, my underground water space cellar. I don't know.
As an actual artist, let's clarify. You're an actual artist.
I do. Yes, I'm an illustrator. I'm it's my occupation. No, I'm not very architecturally inclined though.
What? Okay, whatever. We got a really close save.
Oh!
Eco so
Yeah.
here's what happened. Let me explain what happened.
Yeah.
That lost us like 30 seconds. Okay, so in this version of in every other version of the game, when you're like scaling along the wall, the only way you can climb up is by pushing triangle. In this version of the game, you can also climb up if you're just pushing up high enough with the joystick. So you have to be careful with the angle that you're scaling, or Eco will start climbing, like he just did right here. Now, all I did was push X to drop back down to my hands, and the game decided that Eco didn't want to grab, and so we fell to our death, just from me pushing X right there, because I didn't want to be standing, because I wanted to be hanging. But at that other camera angle, you have to push straight up to get Eco to move, so it's really interesting. Little quirk about this version of the game.
Oh, I was afraid there. I didn't see the ledge. Thought that happened again.
You know what? I'm just gonna stay at the top this time. It's slower, but I don't care. I don't want to risk dropping and dying. Oh gosh, this game.
And I think there's a second very precise D-pad jump incoming.
In the other version, yes, but in this version, the camera angle
no.
means you have to do it with the joystick, and it's a lot harder. So I wasn't gonna risk it. But yeah,
But
you're
yeah,
right.
the D-pad would have brought you. Yeah.
But the camera angle in the other version is different. So I almost started to do it, and then I decided no, because we already had a death. I was gonna give it a try, but nah.
Syntaxa is explaining the space between is really important in a lot of game design. There are set pieces, but then there have to be spaces between to contemplate.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
That plays into that whole
That's really
with
well
all-
said.
coherent space as well, and the fact that when you are in these kinds of rooms in the game, like maybe not in the underground part, but there are spaces where you contemplate, and it's important that you can feel this coherence in the castle design.
Yeah, and so this was before this game was before most games were even trying to do that, and just instinctively, it makes it feel so much more realistic. Plus, most of the physics in the game, at least in the finished form, are very realistic. Like he doesn't have a super jump,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's still this cartoon-like quality to it as well.
Yes.
With
Right.
he can grab things that no human should be able to grab
Oh,
without
yeah.
dislocating.
Well, he's got
his
super
fingers.
strength with his horns. What I thought you
Yeah,
were going to say,
yeah,
though, was
makes sense.
there's still an animated quality to him because they actually animated him by hand.
Absolutely.
All of these motions were hand animations, and it just gives it a different feel, especially for PS2 games at the time. I almost went too far. That would have been a disaster.
Yeah, I don't. Are you saying in opposition to motion capture?
Yes, there was no motion capture. This was all, and like the polygons, like it's all actually like hand-drawn animation. Oops.
Because I don't think there was, in video games at least, I don't think there was as much motion capture at the time.
No. But I mean, you compare this to the other games that were coming out for PS2
Yes.
and the way the characters look, and they're extremely polygonal, and he just blends in seamlessly.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing, yeah.
Absolutely, I get your point.
All right, now the camera angle there is more dramatic than the other version. I think it's really cool. We've got the He-Man sword now. It's time to go
Yeah.
rescue the princess and hopefully stab the queen within the next 10 minutes. I think we got it.
And be able to open doors.
Yes. So you have the sword, which could kill things better, and then you have Yorda, who could open doors. And now, since we have both of these together, we've got Sworda. That's what we like to call the sword. And now we've got a couple more non-skippable animations, so I'm going to put my cool Eco with the Master Sword emote that I really like. It's got the shades.
Oh, beautiful. I like the energy of it.
Yeah. So my niece actually did that eco drawing a long time ago, but I added the sword and the glasses.
Oh, the drawing is really good. Your niece is talented.
Oh, she's
Oh,
both of
I
mine are
think
amazing.
she-
So she's that's a different niece from the one who also is a tattoo artist.
Okay, okay.
So you know one niece, and this was a different one who did this art.
There is a
and-
lot of talent running in your.
My brother had 2 daughters, and he really wanted to make sure that they loved art, and it worked.
Yeah.
And they're both really amazing artists.
It is learned.
Yeah.
Education is.
Yep. All right. This is a funny quirk in this version of the game. Like, Eco's up close, and now suddenly he's not close anymore.
So you just teleported back.
Just teleported back.
Yeah.
And now they have this random cutscene right here for no reason. Everyone's doing a jig.
Dump.
So the shadows, the AI and the shadows in this version of the game, unfortunately, is kind of not that great. You see, they do a lot more like standing around and swooping, and it's really annoying. Oh, we got 2 with 1 there. And we'll end up having to like chase them around. It's kind of like, yeah. The whole strategy of getting them to fall behind the stairs still works, but they don't all like to do that. So you end up having to chase them. It's really annoying.
There's a set number of
There's
shadows here that you
53. 53 shadows. You see, they're just more jittery too.
have- Yeah. But from a world building standpoint, it's also a very interesting place.
Yes.
If I understand correctly.
Yeah, because this is where we started the whole game. We started here and now we came back. And because of now it clicks that all these other shadows that we've been interacting with were other horn boys whose souls had basically become slaves to the queen. And that's what.
So that's what you should have become if everything had gone to plan.
Well, you know, we're actually the last one. So what would have happened is, once we had been sacrificed, she would have possessed Yorda.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know.
That was the whole point.
All of our souls would have been used for energy to possess Yorda. So we were the last one. All right, they're doing an okay job of corralling towards me. Not the best, but
Yeah. Don't jinx it.
it is easier to chase them in this version for some reason. All right, anybody up here? Oh, that guy, he got away. That's okay.
So you can see here that depending on where the camera is, sometimes you can definitely notice that these shadows have horns on them.
Yes. And it's easier in this version to see the smoke going into and lighting up the each of their sarcophagi.
Syntaxor asks, is it that horned children are more prone to
that was
being
a good fight.
slaves? I don't think that's the point. I think there's
no.
there's a curse.
So
I'll let you explain.
I would say that they're born with an innate power, that they have a piece of Dorman's soul because they're descendants of Baby Wander from Shadow of the Colossus. So if you're born with horns, that means that you've got a little bit of an extra special power in you that the regular humans don't have, that allow you to serve the purpose of the Queen's sacrifice, which is to charge up Yorda. All right, so we wouldn't actually call time normally when we stab the Queen, but that's what we're gonna do for this run. Just because a lot of stuff went wrong, and most of it was out of our hands, and so we didn't get to. We won't get to go through all the credits and do the beach run at the end, but that's okay. We still got to show off the game, and we definitely got to show how this one is much harder. Ooh, someone wants to offer us a promotion. Are there any mods in chat to get rid of that person? Wait, am I a mod? No, I'm not. Sad. Alright, after that shadow fight, this is actually fairly easy. Thank you, mods.
GG. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
these,
let's go shank a monarch.
The sword always falls in the same place in this game. It's a lot harder to cut those blasts that the queen shoots out in this version because they're just not as distinct. You can't actually see the line really approaching you very well, but that's okay. So I'm a lot less likely to actually cut one. Oh, I almost got it.
The sword there always lands in the same place. You're following a pattern.
Yep. So it's very. So there will be one more on the left and then one far back, and so the next hit will get rid of her like bubble sphere thing. They had that one hiding on the side, which is sneaky. One more, and we're done. So I'm glad we were able to finish the game anyways within that time period. We probably, oh, you know what? That took a while. I'm gonna wait for one more. Just to be safe, okay. But again, you know, yeah. Oh, I cut through that one. But like, it was really hard to see. Oh, so we got one. Lucky us. Maybe one more? Nope. And stabby stab. We'll call that time, but it's not really time. Just add about 12 minutes to that, and this run would have been about 2 hours and 10 minutes. But we'll call time. Now we do have 2 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
Would you take a small second to first of all, GG.
Oh, thanks.
Great run.
Thanks. We made it through.
Job.
We kept a good attitude. That was important.
Would you take a second to show off the cover art for this version, which is something to behold?
It's standing right behind Leonardo. Oops. Okay. There you go. That is the US version of this game. Check out that amazing. Oh look,
and
it's
the
like
final
my
cover is
half,
such a pretty illustration. And then
it's half my face, half Yorda's face.
Oh, you're making the art better.
That's creepy. I'm gonna stop doing that.
Thank you so much, Sancho.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I hope we'll be talking again really soon because there's another run, and then you and the friend are doing Journey, and I will hopefully do more singing in that version. So
we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. Take care, everybody. You see my name, so you can follow me if you want to, and we'll have on my stream. I just call it the Cure for Insomnia. We just hang out and chill and play chill games like this one. So, take care, everybody.
And
sing. And we do a lot of singing. We do a lot of singing.
Yeah.
That is very true. All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sancho. Thank you, Shavil. We are gonna be right back with more Sancho, but in pre-recorded format.
Oh gosh, they're gonna be sick of me. Oh, at least it's Blink doing most of the talking.
So up next we have the ICO World Record History video that was premiered about a year ago. Is that right? At a GDQ hotfix. It's really a fascinating watch. It shows sort of the evolution of the speedrun of this game, and it's really interesting, and things really pick up the pace when Sancho bursts onto the scene. So stick around for that. Immediately following that video, Shavil and Sancho are going to be back. Sancho is going to be commentating a Journey speedrun that Shavil is going to be doing with Catalyst. So stick around for both of those coming right up. We'll be back in a minute.
Bye.